What if I told you that the single best financial move you can make doesn't require making more money, investing in the stock market, or even cutting back on lattes? Welcome to the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Wurz, financial planner for law firm owners. If you've ever felt like your money disappears every month and you're not sure where it goes, this episode is for you. By the way, have you felt that way? Today, we're going to talk about why most people underestimate their spending, the best tools to track your finances, how one couple turned a financial mess into financial success, and how you can take control of your cash flow today. Hey, law firm owners, are you ready to sharpen your financial mindset and take your practice to the next level? Join the Lawyer Millionaire Book Club, open only to lawyers, where we dive into powerful books that transform the way you think about money, business, and success. It's not just about the books, though. It's about connecting with a community of like-minded attorneys. Sign up now using the link in the show notes. All right. Hey, how you doing today? How's your spending, by the way? One of the first questions I ask clients in their intake is, how much do you spend per month on average? And you know what? No one ever knows. And those who guess are often way off. Why is that? Why are they so off? Well, it's because small expenses add up fast. A coffee here, a meal there, an Amazon order. Before you know it, thousands have disappeared. What you don't measure, you can't control. Is that familiar? What you measure gets improved. That's from business. That's from the business world. Let's take some business world principles and let's apply them to your life. You wouldn't just let your law firm's spending run out of control, right? And no, it's not about depriving yourself. It's just about being aware, having some awareness. And really, that is the first step, some simple awareness. I'm curious about you, though. Do you know? Do you know how much if you were to guess just right now what your average monthly spend is? Would you have any idea? I think even I would struggle, and I do track it. I have to go look, and I'm looking at everybody else's numbers. I got to think about my own, right? Well, that's okay. But let me just encourage you. Awareness is powerful, and it's half the battle. Just having awareness. Simply being aware about your spending creates better financial habits. Tracking isn't about guilt. It's about purpose. When you know how much you've spent and you know how much you can spend, you're just going to make better decisions and you're going to feel better about it. Wouldn't you rather know what your spending is than get a bad surprise, right? And you know, open up your bank statement and find, or not bank, who looks at bank statements anymore? Open up your bank app, and see that you've overdrawn your checking account. Wouldn't you rather know ahead of time, right? If you knew you were spending X amount on something, would you keep doing it? One of my law firm owner clients, we worked on budgeting together. We looked at his spending. We found that he was, between him and his spouse, they were spending $35,000 a year on Amazon. Now, there might be a reason for a lot of those things. You can get a lot of things on Amazon, right? You can get groceries, you can get a lot of stuff. But one of the most powerful things that I think is to look at your spending over the course of a year. And that does create some awareness, right? Because it's like, wow, I see how this adds up. And a small little bit of discipline here and there can really make a big difference. Tracking your money also helps you in other ways. It helps you identify waste. You might be spending money on things you're not using anymore. Maybe how many apps have you signed up for? How many apps are you spending money on? How many things have you subscribed to, right? And you haven't realized it. Before you know it, you're spending $1,000 a month on Apple. Right? No wonder Apple is a $1 trillion company, because we have all these app subscriptions. Tracking your money helps you identify the waste and then repurpose that money towards your goals and make financial decisions with intention. When you go through your expenses, you can look and you can see, do I really need this thing that I'm spending money on? And by the way, there's no shame in taking something back because you made an impulse buy and you're like, well, I don't think I really need this. I think I could be smarter. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that plenty of times. So let's talk about some of the best tools for tracking your money. Okay. One of my favorite, technology is really the key, right? We love tech tools here at the Lawyer Millionaire. We help our clients get set up on tech tools, and technology is really the key. If you want to be really good at your money, technology is the key. There are lots of tech tools out there for personal finance. I know people who use Quicken and have had a good experience with that. There's one called You Need a Budget, or YNAB, YNAB. I used to use Mint back in the day. Anybody remember Mint? And now it's, see who bought them. Intuit bought them. And I think they're getting rid of it. It's part of Credit Karma's system now. And I think they're actually getting rid of Mint entirely, which I was really disappointed by, because I used Mint since college. Oh gosh, let's see. How long ago was that? Okay. I graduated college in 2010. So yeah, I used it for a long time. At least 10 years I used Mint until they got bought by Intuit. And I don't think they're around anymore. Maybe they are. I could be wrong. But anyway, my personal favorite, and the one we use with our clients, is Monarch Money. I'm not getting paid anything to make this recommendation, but I really like Monarch. We like it for our clients. I'll give you a big reason why. Because we can access it along with our clients. The clients can give us advisor access, and so we can get in there on our clients' behalf and we can manage things. But what's really, really powerful also is that you and your spouse can each have separate logins to the same program. One of the most difficult things about finance and budgeting is fine when it's by yourself, right? And you're responsible. That's one thing. But when you have a partner and you got to deal with their spending, that's a whole nother ballpark. And you know what I'm talking about if you're in a relationship, right? We're going to do we're going to do a whole podcast on money in relationships, because that's a whole thing, right? But that's really tricky, right? How do you communicate? Do you keep things separate? Do you combine things together? And I've seen every iteration of how to do this, and there's no one right way or wrong way. You just got to figure out what's the system that works best for you. But Monarch is powerful that way because it's very spouse friendly. So you each can have your own login to come in to the program, see the spending, etc. Monarch's also really great because it's just a very simple interface, right? You go in, you can see your budgets, you can see your transactions, you can look at your overall spending, track your credit cards, your bank account statements, track your net worth over time. And it's just very user friendly. And that's what we love about it. Now, it's not free. I forget what it is. It's like $15 a month or something like that, but totally worth it. And I think that's the reason that they say, at least, that they charge a fee. Unlike Mint, Mint was free, but Mint was selling your data to everybody. So, so yeah. It's smart to pay for something, because then, hopefully that's how they're deriving their revenue and not through using your data. The way these apps work, if you're not familiar, you link your various accounts, and it's a secure link. They don't have access to your bank account numbers or anything like that. It's a data-only link. It only imports your transaction data, the spending and the dollar amounts. It brings all that information automatically into one place so that you can categorize your transactions. And one of the things I really love about Monarch is that it automatically categorizes transactions for you. And you can very easily set up rules so that certain things will automatically be categorized certain ways. And that is really, really helpful, because it just gets your budgeting kind of just set on autopilot. Here's my pro tip for you. Oh, and by the way, there's an app for Monarch, and there's an app for all these things. And that's really the best way to do this, because then you have access to it on the go. It's right there. Okay, pro tip. Spend 30 minutes a week. It doesn't have to be 30. Spend 15 minutes a week reviewing your weekly spending. Okay. Now, I know you haven't been doing this. I'm not asking you to sit down for hours and go back through the last 6 months of spending. It's unrealistic. But start today from all the spending from this day forward that you're going to track. You can't do anything about the past. Past is done, whatever. Another thing, if you're a law firm owner and you're not tracking your spending, you may be buying things on your personal cards and such that could be business expenses that you could deduct, and you're wasting money that way. You're not getting the value of the tax deduction. So track your spending. How do I know? Because I've done this, right? My Microsoft subscription was on one of my personal credit cards. Okay, that's a business expense. Hello, right? So review your spending. Now, okay, I hear you. You make $1 million a year. Do I really need to track my spending? Yes, absolutely. Does the CEO of Apple not give a damn about how much Apple spends? No. They watch their spending. Okay. Now, if $1 billion company tracks its spending, you should be tracking your spending. Period. End of story. I don't care how much money you have. Now, at a certain point, sure, maybe you hire a family office and you have a CFO and an accountant, and you offload a lot of this, and then they are tracking this for you. But everyone should be tracking their spending. Period. That's my take. That's my hot take. That's my controversial take. I don't care. You're making $1 million a year, budget. You still need a budget. Let me tell you a little case story, or a case study, a little story of some individuals I worked with. They didn't have very much money, but we were able to really make a huge difference. This was early in my career, right? Early in my career. I was a brand new financial advisor, totally green. I had this young couple I was working with. They were really struggling with credit card debt and overspending, right? They didn't have any money to invest with me. So what did I do? I said, let's take a look. Let's actually dig in. Let's look at your spending. Let's look at where the money's going. Here's what we found. They were spending all this money on a horrible cash value life insurance policy that had been sold to them. Shame on the insurance salesman that sold them this policy, under the guise that it was going to be this magical retirement / college planning vehicle. Total bullshit. Okay, pardon my French, but it is. And they were paying too much on their mortgage because their mortgage rate was higher. They had gotten their mortgage many years before. Their rate on their mortgage was higher than prevailing interest rates at the time. So what did we do? Well, we swapped out that bad cash value life insurance policy for term life insurance. So all of a sudden, they had a whole lot more money in their budget. I encouraged them to refinance their mortgage. They did that, lower their payments. They used some of that extra savings to pay off their credit card debt. Oh my gosh. And you can see how the avalanche just keeps going. So paid off the credit card debt, interest is gone. They're not paying so much money in interest each month. All of a sudden, they've got money in the budget to invest. Guess what? They started investing a couple $100 a month. They had enough money to send their kids to college. Period. The takeaway: most people already have the extra money to spend or to save. They just need to find it and to redirect it. Are you taking all the right steps? Is there hidden money? Is there hidden wealth in your budget that you're not taking advantage of? Take our Millionaire Money Mastery assessment. The link is in the show notes. Find out what you could be doing differently to optimize your finances. Okay, how to get started tracking your spending. Go find a tool and set it up. I like Monarch. There are many tools out there you can use. Choose an app that you like, connect your accounts, review your transactions weekly, every week. If you do it monthly, you're not going to remember. You're going to be sitting there on March 30th thinking, what the heck did I spend $20 on at Walmart on March 2nd? Gosh, right? You're not going to remember. So do it weekly. Weekly means it's a small habit, minimal time investment. It's easy. make it fun for yourself. I don't know, have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, whatever floats your boat. Small habit, big impact. Number 3, set some spending targets for yourself. Not budgets. We won't use the budget word since no one likes that. But set some targets, right? What you would ideally like to keep the spending within. And then look for leaks. Where are some things you can cut back? Where are some subscriptions that you don't need? Where is money leaking out of your life? And redirect that savings to build wealth. Instead of just spending less, decide where the money should go. Your debt payoff, your investments, your future financial goals. What's one thing you can do today? You can go find a budget app you like, download it. You can do it right now. Download it on your phone and get started. And give yourself some time. Set a time. I like Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings work for me. I get up, I look at my Monarch, I review my transactions, boom, bada bang. Okay? If there's anything that's amiss, that's awry, then I'm going to catch it. If you don't look, you don't know. And when you look, you find stuff. You'd be surprised. Okay? If you don't know where your money is going, how can you make the best decisions for your future? Tracking your spending isn't about restriction. It's about control and freedom. My challenge for you today is this. Track your spending for the next 30 days. For the next 4 weeks, once a week, track your weekly spending. And by the way, this is something that we can help you with. Do you need help setting up a financial plan tailored for you? Let's chat. Schedule your free call with me using the calendar link in the show notes. And by the way, listeners to this show get $250 off their first month as members. If this episode helped you, share it with a colleague who needs some help. Someone you know needs this episode. Go ahead and share this episode with them. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm your host, Darren Wurz. See you next time.